Hey guys, it's Z from Build a Business You Love. And forgive me, I'm looking down all the way around everywhere because I have multiple screens and it's crazy right now. I'm trying to get used to everything. But today's video is actually an event-based video, right? And this video goes into the thing that our heart pounds about as event-based owners, the thing that we are, or one of the things that we're really concerned about as it gets hotter in the summer months, and that is the temperature issues in an event space. What happens when it gets too hot? People are uncomfortable. People start complaining. We start to panic, right? It's like, oh my God, this is not the perfect, the ideal situation. And it's because of the weather, it's because of climate change, it's because of, possibly the amount of people that you have in the space, but it also could be because of your units and efficiencies. So a few of the things I want to go over is some ways that we can combat against that, and also some things that you need to have, some provisions you can put into your lease so that you don't have to make yourself 100% responsible if something happens to your HVAC unit for your commercial space. Okay, so we're going to get into that. Again, forgive me for looking down, but have everything here. So the first thing is a must-have is obviously ceiling fans. Okay, I'm not talking about your grandma's ceiling fans. I'm talking about some ceiling fans that are modern. Some ceiling fans that look presentable, that make the space inviting. The ceiling fan can't take away from the space. The aesthetics here are very important still. So we're looking for ceiling fans that are modern, that are efficient, that look good and are installed well, no cords and all of that showing, and that adds to the aesthetics of the event space. Okay, we're not looking for a ceiling fan that you can find at your grandma's house, right? So we're looking for something that looks good, that feels good, and you probably need a couple depending on the size of your space, right? If you reach out to an HVAC person, they can tell you the amount of I don't know if it's BTUs or the amount of efficiency you'll need for your HVAC system in order to cool or heat up a particular area for your event space, within your event space, right? So that's something that you could look at too. But the ceiling fans are really important. I even encourage those big utility fans as well that go on the floor, the orange ones, because it can help you to dry the floor easily and quicker. If you're doing what do you call those? If you're doing the event space, excuse me, if you're doing the events and you're having time slots, then that's something that you're going to need to have the floor ready, mopped and ready and cleaned efficiently and quickly, right? So those on the floor huge fans can come in handy for that, but it can also come in handy for circulating the air as well. I don't really recommend you having them on the floor while people are in the establishment having their events, because those fans are they're utility fans that's for commercial use, and I don't want anyone to get injured. Remember when you were a kid and your mom said, don't put your hand in the fan, right? Yeah, so we don't want any issues. So I would suggest taking them off the floor. Once the place has good circulation, you have your ceiling fans going, however many you need, right? Because one may not cut it. You may need a couple. Okay, have your ceiling fans going, have your HVAC system going, and then have your fans on the floor going to make sure that air is circulating before people get in there. It's always a good idea to set up the space, come in early, make sure the space is looking good, feeling good, and smelling good, okay, before anyone comes in there. And this is obviously for the comfort of your guests, right? You don't want your guests coming in uncomfortable. You don't want them to come in, where it's an unpleasant feeling or even a stuffy, how that kind of stuffy, mildewy, moisture kind of smell, the humid smell is in the space because it's hot outside. You want them to come in and be like, this feels good in here. Yeah, right. That's the feeling you want to give your customers and your clients, even during the showings, guys. You want to do this. Now, real quick, as far as the newer commercial spaces, and I have this in my course as well, you need to look at if your space has a demand meter. The demand meter, there's tricks to it because the demand meter can shoot your utility bills and your electric bills up extremely high if you don't put it on correctly, if you don't put on your utilities correctly. So I have that in my course, some tips and tricks to keep your bills low, especially during the hotter months when you need to have the HVAC system on, as well as the cooler months where you need to, do the reverse, have some heat in there. So you want to make sure that your guests are comfortable. You are preventing any overheating, so you make sure that any activities, like if they're going to be dancing or whatever the case is, you want to make sure that everything is at a manageable level. Okay. The air quality needs to be good as well. You don't want anything that's a humid feeling, like I said, that feel of that stale air. You want to make sure that air is circulating. Okay. So people are comfortable, and of course, to prevent any respiratory issues as well. Also look at the energy efficiency of your unit. It's always a good idea to make sure that you have the potentially lowering your cost to the lowest amount you can get it at. You don't want to be running your units and it's not efficient as it should be. Okay. Also, you just want to make sure that your customer has a good experience and everything is well taken care of, and they feel that. People want to come and feeling like, they want that experience. Like, okay, they took care of me. I feel good. I feel like I was catered to, right? And the next side of it is to make sure that before you even sign the lease, right, you want to make sure some provisions are in the lease. Okay. So things like who's responsible for maintaining and repairing the HVAC system if it goes down? Who's responsible for that? Right? Whose obligation is it? Is it yours? Is it the landlord's? You can put it in your lease that up to a certain amount, you're responsible. After that, they have to cut the costs, right? So this is something that you can work out within your lease once you actually are signing and prepared to sign your commercial lease. And also, I have ways to do that in my course as well. The cost of HVAC replacement. Sometimes systems fail and you have to replace the whole thing altogether. Who's responsible for that? Okay, that can be extremely expensive. We know how expensive those things are in a house. So imagine how expensive it is for a commercial unit to be put in, right? And the last thing you want is to not to be able to have an event because all of these things are being done. So time frames also needs to be put into your lease. If something were to happen, like the landlord has to address these time frames, address these issues within a certain time frame, right? So if something happens, what about rent abatement or reduction, right? Because you may have to have something replaced, or you're waiting for a particular company to come out and do the repairs. You shouldn't be out for that. So, but things have to be put into writing, okay? And what constitutes a reasonable time frame? Some landlords might try to play you and say, yeah, 3 months. No, we have a business to run, okay? Also, the standards of the HVAC system, like, things like temperature gauges and stuff like this, and everything needs to be cleared out in the lease, the parameter within the parameters of the lease, to make sure that there's no confusion. Okay. As well as inspection and access. You may be in a space where the HVAC system is in another location, or maybe locked into another location where you may not have access to it. So you want to make sure that your landlord allows you access, okay, to and communications allows you access and communication and clear lines of communication if something goes wrong, so you could be able to notify them and have someone come out and fix it. Again, who is fixing it and who is responsible financially should be outlined in the lease. Okay. Also, I want to say the last thing I would mention about, these hot summer months is that sometimes the landlord may have a contract or a service contract with another company, an outside company, whereas they have the contract with this company, say like another HVAC company, right? Where the HVAC company will come out and they will fix and repair whatever it is, the particular unit within your commercial space. Here's the thing. Your landlord has that contract with that service provider, not you. So Clear communication is important. Understanding, what the service provider can do and cannot do, who's responsible financially, all of those things are questions you need to ask before signing that lease. Okay. I am Z from Build a Business You Love. I hope this video helps someone out today. And don't forget to check out my affordable event space course that teaches you all of this stuff in a really affordable way. Teaches you how to own, start, operate, and manage an event space. All right. I'm Z from Build a Business You Love. I'd love to hear your stories about the lease provisions and some things that you've encountered in the summer months that may or may not have been, good for business. So be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Love you guys. Bye.